Shavua Tov, I almost said Shabbat Shalom to everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel. We do it every Monday to Thursday. Now, why should you join us on the Israel Brief? Well, the answer is very, very simple. Well, we're a community. In fact, we are a family, and your news here is factual and punctual, and best of all, free. So join me every Monday to Thursday right here on the Israel Brief if you want to hear the news off the ground in Israel. And as always, we do it in partnership with these guys, Lay of the Land. So let's take a look at those top stories. It is day 535 since the 7th of October, since that dark day in Israel's history when Hamas terrorists infiltrated at various points along the border with Gaza and murdered and assaulted and mutilated and kidnapped many Israelis and foreign nationals, taking over 250 hostage, of which 59 still remain captive. We want all of them home now. And the one thing that our incredible Israel Brief community has been doing all around the world, from the Highlands of Scotland to Northern Ireland to the United States to Australia, South Africa, and everywhere in between, even to the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, is speaking about our hostages. We will not let the world forget. So let's take a look at the top stories, and we begin with rocket fire resuming on Israel on multiple fronts. Now, last week I mentioned that the Houthis, the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels from Yemen, had been firing on central Israel. Their prime target seems to be Ben Gurion Airport, which is about 10 minutes away from where I live. We've had sirens nearly every single day, and the most recent one was about 7:30 yesterday morning. Meanwhile, Hamas also fired rockets from the Gaza Strip in recent days, firing 3 into Tel Aviv at the end of last week. Those were intercepted, and 1 towards Ashkelon. And on Saturday, Hezbollah fired 6 rockets towards the northern Israel town of Metula. Now, the United States has told Israel, don't worry about the Houthis, leave them to me, and the United States has continued its air assault on Houthi targets in Yemen. Meanwhile, over the weekend, in response, despite what some of the legacy media might say, the Israeli Air Force struck Hezbollah launched sites and targets in southern Lebanon and continues to strike Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. Now, the IDF and the Shabak have said that the army has encircled Deir al-Balah in the Gaza Strip, as well as an area in Rafah. This is to root out and destroy Hamas operatives. And in recent days, the IDF have struck with pinpoint precision. In fact, you can actually see the strikes people have been sharing from the ground in Gaza on social media, the pinpoint strikes that have eliminated Hamas officials, including the recently sworn-in Prime Minister, an education official, and a finance official. Meanwhile, earlier today, an 85-year-old man was killed in a terror attack in the northern Israel town of Yokneam. A 20-year-old soldier was also seriously injured. It is believed that the assailant stabbed the soldier, grabbed his weapon, and shot at the 85-year-old man. A border police guard neutralized the terrorist. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the victims, and may their memories be blessed. Trump's senior hostage negotiator, Steve Witkoff, speaking, I think it was to Fox News over the weekend, says that he may have been duped by Hamas, who said that they were prepared to go forward with a deal. Now, Witkoff caused quite a bit of controversy in recent days when he said that there is a possibility that Hamas could be involved in a post-war Gaza, albeit politically. Now, he seemed to walk back these comments, saying that Hamas are solely to blame for everything that has happened, saying that they refuse to be demilitarized and they refuse to accept the bridging proposal, which is why we have the scenario that we have at the moment where Israel has resumed hostilities against Hamas. Meanwhile, Hamas have said that they have responded positively to an Egyptian brokered proposal, and Israeli officials have said that they have not received any proposals from Egypt. All we can say in Israel is we want all 59 of our hostages, the dead, to be laid to rest with dignity, and those that are still alive to start the long and difficult road to recovery. Thousands marched in Jerusalem yesterday to protest the firing of the head of the Shin Bet, Ronen Bar. Now, the cabinet met on Friday and voted to fire Ronen Bar, many believe, for two reasons. First of all is that the Shin Bet investigation into the events of the 7th of October criticized very heavily some of the government policy at the time. And also, the Shin Bet is investigating certain members of the Prime Minister's office for alleged ties to Qatar. Meanwhile, yesterday, the government gave a vote of no confidence about the Attorney General, Gali Miara Baharav. This has resulted in widespread protests across the country and many fearing again for Israel's diplomatic soul. Meanwhile, President Isaac Herzog has said that there will be no ignoring of court rulings and no breaking the law. In other words, if the court rules as the firing of a certain official is illegal, that has to be upheld. And finally, the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, have said that the memorial site at the Nova festival site, this is where over 380 festival goers were murdered by Hamas on the 7th of October, has around 7,000 visitors per day. Now, the JNF have raised money to make sure that the site is well looked after. They helped to bring commemorative plaques for each of the victims that are weatherproof, that can withstand any kind of weather. They also have started to plant a memorial forest where each tree is planted in the memory of one of the victims. And the most recent time I was there was about 2 months ago, and there is now a proper parking lot. The site, which was the scene of the Nova Festival, which is one of the worst hit sites of October the 7th, was basically an open area of land. And now, because it is a memorial site, there is proper parking, and many of the families have put up plaques of the individual stories of their loved ones. It is a very, very, very important place to visit, very beautiful place. It's in the middle of nature, and it is a place of incredible, incredible sadness. And it's almost holy soil, you know, that it's the place that still holds the blood of those that were murdered and attacked. And I have to say, my experience, having been there several times, it's almost as if the trees whisper to you and the ground tells a story. It's a holy place, and I won't forget the last time I was there. There was a young woman sitting, just staring at the plaques of one of the young men that was murdered, and I wanted so much to go up to her and give her a hug, but I didn't want to disturb her privacy and her mourning. It's a solemn place, and if you are ever in Israel, it is a place that you have to visit. So those are our top stories. Let's take a look at the audience question, and it comes from David from New York, and it's such a pertinent question because this issue seems to be popping up all the time. And he says, Raylene, what do you think of all the influencers that now seem to be the voice of Israel? Well, here's my honest opinion, and some of you might disagree, and some of you might feel that it's offensive. I'm a journalist, so my job is to be able to report the facts on the ground without fear or favor, and also to ask very difficult questions that shine a light on any area where we think there is inadequacy or something that's not democratic, and also to unfortunately go to dangerous situations. Influencers are different, and while I can understand that there are certain ministries that like to use influencers because of their massive followings, I'm always concerned that, first of all, influencers make money. They get paid to do these posts to their millions of followers. And second of all, they're not trained to ask the pertinent questions that need to be asked. They're trained, or they're paid to push a narrative. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, in order to maintain credibility, we have to be able to understand nuance, and we have to be able to call ourselves out when we are wrong. And we have to be able to understand and have the ability to deal with the tough questions. I'm a believer that the minute you shut down the people asking the tough questions because you're not equipped to answer them, or you're paid to push a certain narrative, that is when we lose a lot of people who could see our perspective. So David, I hope that answers your question, and a reminder to anyone out there, if you have a question, please pop it in the comment section below or be in touch with us via our website. In the meantime, guys, don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook/Meta page is at Lottel's site. Yep, at Lottel's site. We're on YouTube right here at the Israel Brief. So if you like us, please consider helping us grow our community by clicking on that red subscribe button and sharing. We are on Instagram at Raylene_Marks, on LinkedIn at Raylene Marks, on X at Lay of the Land 5. And guys, God bless you all. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.